Make sure I'm live. Stream. Let's make sure I'm live. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. I'm just making sure I'm live right now. Boom, I'm live. Perfect. Hey, you see the title of the video. What is the title of the video? Give me 1 second. Like I said, I make extremely raw content, but it's always to help you guys and push the needle for you guys. So let's see. We're gonna stay on topic. So if I had to start over with discipline, I'll do this. So let's just start with a quick recap. Yes, so my face is gonna look weird for probably the next 2 or 3 weeks. I nicked myself yesterday morning on my mustache region, and I had to end up, shaving it all off. So that's why my face is looking funny currently right now. Who cares? I could have played shy and been like, "Oh my gosh, I won't go live
funny.
looking like this." But who cares? I'm here now. You're here, and that's all that matters. And you guys want help, and that's what I'm here for, is to help you guys. So this isn't this is okay. I'll sacrifice my own little ego or whatever. Get up on here, not looking optimal. But anyways, let's get right into the topic. So, if I had to start over, the first thing I would do is set a timer. Go down, text box. Well, scheduling. Let's make that more specific. I would say scheduling. That would be the first thing I would do. Oops. Scheduling. Hold on, y'all can't see that color. Give me 1 second. Scheduling. Boom. First thing is scheduling. Now, this can be scheduling by paper. This can be scheduling via, digital apps or softwares. So scheduling, that would be the first number one, numero uno thing that I will personally do. So let's go. Number one thing. So timing. Making time slots for a task. Not multiple tasks, just for a task. That would be the first thing I would do if I had to start over with discipline. Now, you might be curious, what do you mean by starting over? I'm talking about, let's say that you was actually on a good streak for a month. I don't know, even 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year of being laser focused, laser locked in, and knocking out your tasks daily. This is your reset. Sometimes things in life can occur. Maybe you're not in your natural environment, and I always preach this a lot, that your environment is a very pivotal portion, or is very crucial to being more disciplined and locked in. So things that can throw that off is unexpected business trips, unexpected life circumstances. You can get in a car accident, you can get, ill out of nowhere. Things like that can throw off your feng shui, so to speak. And what I mean by that is, now, instead of being at your home, which is an environment that you curated into a environment for success and knocking out your task or tasks, if you're more advanced, I put the S on the end, then you're going from like a nursing home, or you're at the hospital. I know that firsthand. I know you guys can probably relate. I have cousins that missed like Thanksgiving because they were at the hospital. You think they wanted to do that? No. I mean, because 6 months prior, they were still healthy. But like I said, life happened. So this video is for those out there that needs a hard reset. So this is what I would do. The first thing I would work on is scheduling and time slots for a task. And this is the hardest thing, because one of the hardest things to do is to wake up on time and get right to it. So the first thing I would do is time slots for a task. And then I would, two, set hard timers. You have to get up. You have to get up no matter what. Give me 1 second. Okay, cool. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay, cool. So number two, what would I say for number two? Number two would be setting a timer, or we can just say setting a alarm. This is what I would do to reset, setting a hard alarm. Let's put emphasis on that, not just any alarm, setting a hard alarm. What's a hard alarm? Meaning that we need to be aggressive enough to where it's not just about getting woke up by the first alarm and you getting right into it. We probably need to set like 3 to 5 like timers, and they need to almost go off a minute from one another. We need to set in a hard alarm. And this is, life is always about being uncomfortable at first, and then with time it gets better. Just like working out, the first all out workout, or maybe even the second workout, if you just get into working out, that's gonna be the most grueling and gruesome thing ever. You're gonna be aching, and you're gonna be in so many pains and aches for that duration of time. But after you start doing that for 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, your body aggregates, or your body gets used to that burn, and it's easy to push forward. So what I mean by when we doing this hard reset and setting a hard alarm, that means that we have to take it serious, just like we did months ago or a couple weeks ago when we were really locked in before life had its way with us, right? Some things are just out of our hands. So anyways, setting a hard alarm. Once we set a hard alarm, we simply perform the task. We just we'll perform the task of locking in for 10 minutes. That's it. We don't have to go back. So if let's just call it life happening. How can I make that a section? I guess I'll put it to the right. Maybe that makes sense. We can do life circumstances in red. Make sure this is a red everybody can see. Life circumstances. So let's just keep calling it life circumstances. So hold on, let me get my train of thought back. Hold on, because I'm about to cook. Give me a second. Life circumstances, setting a hard alarm. Life circumstances. What else? Setting life circumstances. So think about where you were before the life circumstances happened. You were able to lock in on that task for maybe an hour straight, 2 hours straight, 3 hours straight. So the first thing we're not about to do, we're not trying to go back and do an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, let alone 3 hours. What we're going to do is just trying to lock in for 10 minutes, right? It's just like people with drug addictions when they tell you, hey, we don't recommend you guys cold turkey in it. This is like the inverse to that. I don't recommend for you to try to go back to your glory days of how when you were super disciplined and locked in and focused. This is a hard reset for a reason. We have to slowly get ourselves back into the groove. So 10 minutes. So lock in for that task for 10 minutes. Now, if you have a task that's unique where at a bare minimum it requires 30 minutes, then of course, you have to take that out of this message, right? So if it requires you to do 30 minutes, then do 30 minutes. But if it's possible, just do 10 minutes. So essentially do 10 to 20%. I like numbers, so do 10 to 20% of, how do I articulate that correctly? think the viewers at home get what I'm trying to get at. How do I make this cohesive for everybody listening at home? So, for example, if when you were super locked in on your task and on a daily, let's say you were spending an hour on it, then at least invest 10 or 20% of that time out of that. So what's 10%? Well, let's do what's 20%? 60. So 20% of 60 is 12 minutes. So I'm in the right range. 10 to 20%. Do about 10 to 20% of what was your normal time before you lost your focus and you lost your way, so to speak. Just do 10% of that. So I'm about to literally write that on the list. That's why I love these lives, man, because this is a real communication. This is how people will communicate in real life. This isn't all of this stage and perfect teleprompt and scripted um, transcript that I got for you guys. This is stuff that I've actually achieved in my own life and help others achieve. So it's nothing that I have to like be scared to fake the funk with you guys about. So I'm about to do this for number 2. Do 10 to 20% of that. And what that is, that be the task that pushes the needle for you. That pushes the needle for you. Oh my gosh, you. Bingo. So once we do that, let's try to lock in on that for about 3 days straight. Once we're able to do that for 3 days straight, then let's. Oh, here you go. What's up, Tachi? Yep, I give a quick summary. So today, if you look at the title, I said if I had to start over with discipline, I'll do this. So my whole to sum this up, what I was talking about is that sometimes, life circumstances, that's why I have it in red in the upper right hand corner. Sometimes life circumstances hit, unexpectedly, right? That's how life circumstances go, where maybe we got like sporadic business trips that we have to take. Maybe we get ill or we get sick and we get an injury. Maybe we got in a car accident, things like that occur. And that can really mess up our momentum because instead of being at our home, which we curated an environment for focus and to get locked in and laser focus, now we're at a nursing home or we're at a at the hospital or like I said, we're away from our homes for extensive periods of time. So this is a way that we can hard reset. And then another method that you missed is that yesterday morning I nicked my mustache, so I ended up shaving it off. So I'm a little creepy for about a good 2 to 3 weeks. So whatever, I'm not too shy to being a vulnerable state right now. But anyways, yeah, good humor for a bit. So so I said the first thing that I would do is scheduling. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure you can hear me right. Is my audio okay? Okay, audio good. Okay, so so that's why the first thing I wrote was scheduling. So one is time slots for a task, and let's say before life circumstances happen to you, maybe you were able to lock in for an hour on that task daily. Excuse me. Then I said we need to set hard alarms, meaning that we have to get back in the habit on getting up on time and getting after our tasks. But where you said it, where you see that it says 10 to 20% of that, I couldn't articulate it that well. Like I said, this is in the moment, but I know this is what works for me. I said task that pushes the needle. Do 10 to 20% of that, meaning this 20%. I just looked it up on live. 20% of an hour, which is 60 minutes, is 12 minutes. But I said in the pocket between 10 to 20%, just do that to slowly get yourself back acclimated into being consistent. And I said that it was just like the inverse effect where the advice they give to drug addicts. You know, they say when you getting off them drugs, don't just cold turkey it. Just just reduce in increments. So this is now the inverse effect where if life circumstances happen, then we just need to slowly get ourselves back consistent. I'm not asking you guys to lock in for an hour, 3 hours back at a time. No, just 10 minutes for like 3 days straight. Setting a hard setting a hard alarm for the task or waking up. Setting a hard time slots for the task. Oh, wait a minute. Why do I got it both at number one? That's a good catch. Time slots for the task, setting a hard alarm. So when I say time slots for the task, that means being proactive, meaning that, for example, today is March the 29th, and it's about scheduling for the next day, today. That makes sense. So now, sometime today, I'll be scheduling how I want my day to go and how I want to schedule my slots today for tomorrow. I don't want to, I typically don't like waiting a day of to try to schedule in things, but that's what I mean by time slots for the task. And then, you know, what's the next step? We're setting a hard alarm. And all a hard alarm is to me is these persistent alarms that's going to make sure you wake up and you're alert and you probably a little bit irritated to just get to that task, because when we're trying to get back into the swing of things, it's easy to just sag off and be lazy. So that's what I mean by that. But great catch. And also, when we get into that task, we're not about to just go full boat, full throttle like how we were before the life circumstances hit us. Just do 10 or 20% of that for like 3 days straight. That's what I recommend. And then we can step it up to 15 minutes. Then after 15 minutes, we can step it up to 25 to 30 minutes. But yeah. So yeah, just take it in stride like that, and you will be surprised. Meaning that when life circumstances do happen, you're able to switch into that state way quicker. It's just like trained actors, professional actors. They had that same thing where over years and years of acting, they can just it's nothing for them to get into character and drop out of character. So it's that same concept where you're working on this muscle. I like to call it the bounce back muscle. You know. Let me know if that makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. How's everything going? How's your mental health and everything as of right now? And I know that might be like a personal question to be on a YouTube live, but you can be as vague as you want. I'm just curious, and if you don't want to answer, just put a two in the comment section. I actually like that I did that. You asked for the recap, because me recapping it made the message way smoother. Because, like I said, I'm doing well for the most part. I slept off a lot last week. I've been feeling burnt out. Doing well for the most part. I slept off a lot last week. I've been feeling burnt out. What in particular has been burning you out? And just for everybody at home, just to reiterate, like I said, you building this bounce back muscle. So whenever life circumstances do happen, it's way quicker for you to get back to your to your to that state when you were super locked in and focused. Oh, I got the hiccups like crazy right now. And I'm still waiting for what in particular is making you feel burnt out. And I would like to slip something in is it that the burnout is coming from not seeing the fruits of your labor? Is that one of the reasons that you're feeling burnt out, or is it something just as as simple as that? Hey, I feel burnt out, like I'm out of energy. Hope that kind of helps your answer. But yeah, I had to shave my mustache off. I didn't nicked it yesterday morning because my grandfather, he had his 70th birthday yesterday. He had it at a hall with like 110 guests. Or yeah, he had a ball though, so that was nice. Everybody had all the jokes in the world. Like, oh, you're here, you're here, you're here, and I'm just looking like, okay, you're here, you're here. Everybody had jokes, and like, let me see your head. I'm like, nah, like nah, cause I cut it myself. Like no, I don't know if I missed the spot. Figures things as I go. It's kind of a lot. YouTube, figure things out as I go. It's kind of a lot. YouTube, started working another job, prioritizing my mental health, my environment, not the best for my mental health right now. Bingo, bingo. I don't know about if I yeah, I did mention that in the recap. Environment is a crucial point in staying locked in and focused and 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 it's the opposition of burning out. We have to curate an environment that's hold on, my bad. What is that? I'm sorry. I just my bad. I got neighbors. I just heard something. I got sidetracked. Where was I getting that? Let me just get back to your statement. You mentioned something about your environment is not the best for your mental health right now, and what about like your environment? Is your environment noisy to a point where it's like you can't seem to focus and concentrate? Is an environment demanding a lot out of you? YouTube. And I get it. Shoot, I just started another gig too, another job. So starting another job is a big cognitive load because you want to make sure you cross all your T's going in, so you don't make bad habits. So you can like really just coast in that job. Just come in with good habits, off rail. Make sure you cross your T's. So um, you know, you just front load everything now. Try to be as good as you can be, so you can just coast for the remainder. Cause I get it. It just helped with like stability. Having a peace of mind, knowing that you're doing all of the things by the book once you just starting a job. So now energy is draining. Someone in the house is really noisy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. And I know, and I know you already took the initiative to even like probably get out there in nature, try to separate yourself, try to get that quiet time and that peace. But this right now is only going to make you stronger to where you do eventually have your own like personal space 24/7. I mean, well, of course, outside of work, but where you can just lock in and it's no longer an excuse. I used to have the same type of environment, but this is the thing. Your energy has to be overbearing to the people that you live with. And my energy, when I used to live with somebody for a short stint, it used to be overbearing to the people that I live with. Where surprising the noise in the house actually lessened with time because everybody knew that I was locked in and laser focused. They knew I didn't have like loud music playing. No, they knew I was locked in. Right now, energetically is draining. Someone. The house is really noisy. And I'm reading between the lines. It sounds like this is a situation where the person that's making the noise is kind of, they probably got the mentality that, hey, it's my house, my rules. Which, like I said, um, we we have to see, we have to see, whatever's your number one task is it a way with your sleeping schedule? Can you have that quiet time to still get things done? And I understand that right now, like what you say, you're balancing YouTube, and you started working another job, and and what's in unison with that is your mental health. So I'm trying to see if realistically you can have, like, let's say a free 2 hours of like quiet time throughout the day. Cause that'd be a whole like different discussion. Like I don't know how long is your creative process with YouTube, but the last things that I was watching over at your channel was that it was very in the moment, and in those moments you weren't always around people. So I think I think really you probably don't even need 2 hours of quiet time. You probably just need 1 hour of quiet time. But we'll see what your response. Yeah, I kind of get it. Stop after a while. It's a deer. So also wake up early. Okay, I kind of get that. Why they stop after a while. It's a deeper issue in my family. I'm still healing within myself as well. So it's mental and emotional. But I do need to wake up early. So, and this is great. So let me know, what is your number one priority then right now that'll really push a needle for yourself? Is it getting more comfortable with your new job? Is it YouTube, or is it uh, just your mental health in itself? Because what it sounds like to me maybe is that if your mental health isn't there, then the creative portion of your YouTube content won't be there. So, but I could be wrong. I don't want to jump the gun. But you did also put YouTube first, so let's see. I just gave my baby sister some advice, and she's been taking actionable steps. So I'm proud of her for that. She's already seeing a difference. Um, she got one more actionable step I want her to take, but she's working on it because it's related with like like her doctor. She said her primary doctor end up like moving to a new state, yada yada yada. So one of her last one of the last actionable steps that I gave her is kind of on a standstill. It's at halt right now, but once we break through that wall, then I can really step her up. Oh, I guess let's put this in green. Scheduling. Okay. Right now, it's making money. Wherever way I can. I'm in hustle mode right now, so I'm doing that with YouTube, my job, jewelry. I have two jobs. Two jobs. Sheesh. I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I can't. Let me see. So do you already know your math for both of them jobs? Like those two jobs is taking up how much time a week in hours. So with those two jobs, are you doing 50 hours a week, 30, 60 hours a week? So your number one priority right now is money. So cause with my last job, I used to know like my average hours, normal work weeks was 55 hours a week. So I used to always like take that into account when I was making my schedule through Trello. And with my new job right now, I think my normal work week, I'm still new to it, but I'm pretty sure like with my normal work week, my average is probably gonna be not sitting around maybe like 45, about 45, 48 hours. I'm anticipating, which that makes a ton of a difference to have, an average of 7 hours back. So of course, I'm really excited for this year just to have more time, more having more time to do the things that I really love, and that's being a student first, learning and teaching others, learning, applying it to my own life, and teaching others to get others the results. So yeah, I'm pumped. You ever heard somebody say, "Are you pumped?" Yeah, I'm pumped. For this year for sure. I need some chapstick, but whatever. And I need some water, but whatever. I'm locked in of what you have to say right now. And if you don't know how many hours those two jobs will consume, like week by week, then just put a one down in the comments for me right now, and then we can touch on that at another time. If not, okay, here about 20 hours a week with one. About when I please, I do not need to create a schedule for myself for the second one. I do need to create a schedule for myself for the second one. Okay, and this is what I'm here for. Like I not for this to sound like egotistical or arrogant, but it's good to talk to people because the other person on the other side, they can look at things objectively and start asking you all the right questions, right? Because maybe that wasn't something that came to mind so far because you got so many other things that you're trying to so many other things that you're pondering on right now that probably didn't come to mind. But I'm glad that you have enough self awareness and realness to say for sure that you got 20 hours for the first job, and then about 10 to 15 when I please I do need to create a schedule myself. So let me just get this correct. So for the first job is confirmed like 20 hours a week, and then the second job, that's what you're saying. The range is about 10 to 15 hours. Before I move any further, I just want to make sure I'm on the same page. Or if you're not sure, just drop like I'm not sure about the hours for the second job. I just want to make sure we get your total hours at work a week down for sure. We need to have this on pen and paper. We need to have this digitally, maybe in your notes on your iPhone or whatever your scheduling software is. Yes, I just started the second one, so I'm still getting my footing. So 10 to 15 is my goal, but I'm really probably do like 8 to 9. Okay, so it is. So it is 20 hours. So is it safe to say that in total we looking at about 30 hours, 30 to 35 hours? Is that safe to say a week and working? Okay, perfect, perfect. Cool, cool. So I'll tell you this for sure and for certain. You have you still have a lot of time to fit into things that'll really push the needle for you. Now, that may sound like a cliche answer, but trust me, take it from somebody that was doing, on average, normal work weeks, 55 hours, and not just any type of like job. I'm talking about throwing up ladders, pulling up half of my van, putting tools on a 20 foot or 25, 30 foot tall roof, cutting myself, playing with electricity and refrigerant and yada yada yada, day in and day out. And then I still had the stress of not exactly knowing what time I was getting home because some jobs I had to be there until it was completed, right? So I just want to let you know that if I was still able to like schedule in and pencil in time, you can too. Because most 9 to 5s, most people know exactly what time they're going to be done for the day, and that's the beauty. And I envy people like that so much. And so I just want to be optimistic, and not just be optimistic to be optimistic, but you will and you can have complete control over how your days will go and how your weeks will go, how your months will go. Just knowing your schedule and knowing your hours. So we got that. But but that's a good number. 30 to 35 hours. That's a good number to actually know that offhand now. So now we just need a schedule around that. So I know maybe your question may have been what time did I have the most free time, so to speak? It was my weekends, naturally, Saturday and Sunday. That's why, for example, I'm able to do this right here and right now because I can actually schedule in, time for this. And that's the thing, that we talked about before, Tashi, that we only want to really don't worry about the non-controllables. Let's just worry about the controllables. And I know you heard AB mention that before, but seriously, and that's one of the laws of stoicism. in a nutshell. Well, I won't say a nutshell because Stoicism got way more layers than just that. I just want to say that's one of the key concepts. Let me just be politically correct when I say that. But so, excuse me. So at this portion, yo, your job, how many hours you put it in, that can change. That can change. But right now, this is what it is. So since this is what it is, hey, you just count that 30 to 35 hours just set to the side. Boom. That's my non-controllable right now. Let's not even worry about that. Let me worry about the free time after work, the after hours. Those are my controllables. That is the time I can pencil in. So my follow-up question for you is, when is the next time that you will have free time? And what I mean by free time, I'm saying, let's say ideally, realistically, you got like an hour of time to really brainstorm. Like, hey, how do you want to go about organizing your time? Then we can go from there. Because one of my advice is to make urgency for yourself and don't give yourself too much time. If it realistically is going to take you only 30 minutes to come up with a schedule for yourself, then don't give yourself a extra 30 minutes of buffer time, meaning that don't make it like an hour. Oh, like, I had this down in an hour, or give yourself a buffer 2 to 5 hours. Once you do stuff like that, you typically wait to the last minute and then you actually get nothing done. Trust me, I've this system that I came up with. I know the ins and outs of like how you can lose focus for sure. I spoke to that on one of my lives before. I was like, let's say I had a task that started at 8 o'clock in the morning, and realistically, it'd only take me an hour. It should only take me like an hour, within an hour to complete. And then sometimes what I used to do, I used to give myself buffer. I used to make that a 2 hour slot, which what I started doing was I gave myself 30 minutes, right, to really force that urgency. I have free time today to create my schedule. I'm gonna do it for the week. Okay, do it for the week. Yeah, just do like a a realistic one where you write everything out, how long every roughly said task could take, and then when you schedule it, give yourself less time to actually do it, if that makes sense. I know that sounds like madness, but this is how we have to trick our minds to operate with a sense of urgency. What is that like? Is it? It's not Pavlov's dog. I think it's the Parkinson law about time. We want to give ourselves all the time in the world, then we wait to the last minute or we don't do it at all. That's just like how you remember back in school. I can't remember because being a kid, time was kind of like slower. We felt like we was going in slow motion. But when they used to be like, hey, today is March the 29th, kids, you have until May the 1st to turn in this project. How many people are going to start on doing that project today, or a week from that, or 2 weeks from that? No, probably the vast majority of us. Well, let me stop projecting. I know what I was doing. I didn't look at the I didn't look at the syllabus for the project until 3 days within the due date, right? Why? Because I had all this ample time. I had nothing but time. And so when we making our schedule, we have to keep this in mind as well. Is don't give yourself all of this buffer time. Like, oh, I have, when people always say this saying, when they be like, oh, I got all day to do this, that that is bad. That is bad. No, you have to tell yourself, no, I don't have all day to do this. I need to get this done like I said, realistically, it should take an hour. Just put on paper or any of your productivity software 30 minutes. I'm giving myself 30 minutes of that. And realistically, if you do go over the 30 minutes, that's fine. But I'm telling you, you're going to be more effective and efficient doing it like that. But you about to get it. You about to get it 30 to 35 hours a week. Psh, yeah, yeah. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. You look into that, get that get that handled and scheduled to now, like right now, once because I'm about to get off of this. I think that's probably a good way to get off, in this live with that. Give you that actionable step. You take a breather for about 10 minutes or whatever is your process right now to get back into focus mode. Go over your schedule, and yeah, it'll do wonders. It'll do wonders for you to see that time on paper. And now you're going to be time aware, which is another beautiful thing because you're going to start going, oh, I have throughout the week, I have let's just throw out a hypothetical number. Oh, I got 50 hours of free time throughout the week, even though I got 30 to 35 hours of working hours, at a 9 to 5. Oh, I got 50 hours. And then when you're the reason why you blew 40 of those hours and only worked 10, and now you're time conscious, right? And that's the main thing, being conscious of the time that's wasted. And that's why the beautiful thing with like iPhone, it's crazy how stuff work. iPhone is supposed to be a distraction for us, but then they also do things like keep track of how much screen time we're doing on this app, this browser, yada yada yada. Which once you look at that, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I've been spending this much time on this and that. What am I doing in my life? So just being time conscious is a big thing. But yeah, no information overload. I appreciate you, Tachi, for stopping by. Yeah, yeah, time conscious. Yeah, yeah, that was in a moment too. Yeah, like I said, I like these lives because you can be in the moment. Yeah, no problem. No information overload. And I hope everybody can take something from this live. And this is the type of stuff that I like. It's actually harder for me to just be the person because I'm not a super duper talkative person. So it's easier when I'm just having, I can free flow and have conversations like this because I feel like I'm way more helpful in this sense than just me coming up with ideas, which I do on the fly. And it's not random ideas, it's things that I've applied in my life. But you guys are seeing my gears work in real time of how I'm like reverse engineering the things that I've done on myself, if that makes sense. So, yep. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, and I'm giving you encouraging words. Like I was doing it with average of 55 hours a week, and sometimes I was doing 62 hours a week, and yeah, yeah, yeah. I was doing 62. The last time I was on call, I did 81 hours. So firsthand, trust me, I understand. Yep, you too, you too. Well, y'all know what it is, man. It's Hef, man. Don't be stuck in dumb forever. Let's learn and grow together. It's Hef. I'm out.